wave at me, smile, and we are now recording, ladies, so I appreciate you being here this evening. So we are navigating the curves of life here in our mid-season of life, and as women, we all come with our history, with our old stories. A lot of what we do in these courses is kind of rewrite our stories. So I kind of think of this as a session for Goddess Rewrite. And so it can be fun, it can be challenging. We try and get to know ourselves so that we can know other people. And so tonight's session is going to be briefly, maybe 10 minutes or so, of some ways to get to know you. So when you come into a session like this, sometimes you'll know one or two other people, sometimes you won't know anybody. And so we get to know each other and just a little bit of who we are. So I'd like to invite, I'll start with Miriam to just give me a word that tells me, or a sentence that tells me maybe what you do, and maybe just one of your characteristics. How would people describe you? Who are you, Miss Miriam?
I am a woman in midlife, as we've described it, divorced, a dental hygienist by profession, and a word I think that describes me would be bubbly.
I think bubbly would really cover you. That's
Yes,
great.
do you? Okay.
I do. Dana, can we jump over to you?
Oh my.
Right
I
from
guess-
work to the frying pan.
Geez, I don't know what I would say.
Well, first of all, you're a professional. Are you still in human resources?
Yes, still in human resources, challenging, but
Yes.
still there. Yeah.
Yes, I bet.
Working from home right now. Just struggling with the COVID challenge. You know, I've got a lot of conflicted feelings about everything that's going on. So maybe conflicted right now would be a good word.
I think we can probably relate to that. Absolutely. Carrie, you want to jump in?
Sure. Professionally, I herd cats through their creative endeavors. In other words, documentary.
Say that again. You broke up just a little bit. Creative cats?
I said I herd cats through their creative endeavors.
There you
And
go.
Elementary. I'm married. My children are grown and working and out of the house. And a word for me, introvert, creative.
An introverted creative. Okay. Looks like Dana has her cat with her, just like you have yours with you, Terry.
Yep.
Have you?
Cats on the floor underneath the chair, attacking my feet.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And Dick is not Dick. Dick is Margaret. So Margaret, would you just give us a quick who you are and maybe a word?
A quick who I am. 27 years ago, my life changed. I gave birth to a child with who had suffered a stroke in utero and is someone who needs daily care. So that has really changed the course of my life. I got my MBA a month before she was born, thinking I was going to go do all these things. And instead, this is where I've gone. And I guess I would say probably a word that describes me is, I want to say caregiver.
For a minute or two,
Okay.
10 minutes maybe. Perfect. Hi, sweetie. Love you.
Go ahead.
Caregiver
A word that describes you
is a caregiver.
is a caregiver. Absolutely.
And I've found, and also got into meditation and really saying, who am I and what am I? And
Mhm, mhm. I think there's times, and certainly you had a very big challenge, but there's times in our lives when, there are many hats and we just keep changing them.
Yes.
So thank you all for sharing. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share a screen with you so that I can introduce you to a little bit of a different concept. And I invite you to go ahead and ask any questions that you like. So this is how one way that we can come to try and discover who we are by understanding ourselves a little bit better. So have any of you ever done a DISC profile?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
I'm going to come back to this one. I'm going to jump down to one that is a little bit more fun, and Terry, being an art person, should enjoy this one. So I'm going to ask you to identify for me which shape you most relate to. So don't overthink it, just call it out. So Terry, as an artist, which shape do you relate to most?
Probably number 5, because I tend to be a little bit all over the place.
There you go. Exactly what I would expect. Dana, how about you?
I'm liking number 4.
Okay, number 4. And
Yeah.
your word was conflicted, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Margaret, what shape do you relate to?
I also like number 4.
Okay, very good. And Miriam?
I was going to say 4 as well. Now I know Margaret said 4 because she's a huge purple lover.
That's
Ah,
yes. Yes.
that's cute. All righty. So here's what the shapes say about you. Margaret, if I asked you what would be your second favorite shape, do you have one?
Yeah, probably the circle.
I would think that the circle would definitely be something that you would relate to. A circle is a caregiver. A circle wants everybody to be happy. And so I would think that you got drawn probably to the purple color, but
Yes.
it might be that the blue represents a little bit more of you. Dana,
Yes.
you got drawn to the rectangle, which is someone in transition. So would you say that it's conflicted? If you would say if you could make a transition or a change right now, would you probably do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Miriam is in transition. So she's just left the dental field where she was working full time, and she's making a transition to determine what it is that she wants to do next in her life, other than be a lady of leisure, which she probably totally enjoy for about 25 to 30 days. And then she would probably go a little bonkers. And Terry, being the artist, is the squiggly line, because you never go in a straight line from one thing to the next. There's lots of shiny things in between, right? That you don't want to miss anything. Very good. Any guesses on what I might be?
Number 1.
Number 1?
Number 2.
I certainly can be. Number 2?
Yeah.
So y'all think I'm a mess. Number 2, I'm definitely not, because number 2 is very conscious of detail, and they like things to be, well organized. And I like things to be organized, but I am horrible at details. If you send, my mother at one point sent me to the grocery store 3 times it took me to get it right. So details are not really my big strength. I'm a triangle. And so a triangle is usually a leader. They're usually pretty direct in their communication, whereas a circle is going to be much more gentle in their communication. And the squiggly line is going to get people confused sometimes, because what you're seeing in your mind's eye is not necessarily what's coming out of your mouth. And so that we all have different communication styles, and none of us is 100% of any of these, but it's a fun way. It is a great party game if you have friends getting together that don't know each other. So now from that, I'm going to go back up to the DISC program, because the DISC is very similar. So dominance is a triangle typically, okay? So we're pretty results oriented. We're pretty direct in our communication. A C is typically a square. They're very compliance driven. They don't break rules. except for the chocolate meditation that I did last night, where my two rule breakers ate the second piece of chocolate.
That's
I
not
said they could. That was so,
That's not you, the square.
it was so funny. And so steadiness is probably going to be that circle, sincerity and patient and modest. And then the influencer may be that circle, but probably is also going to be in that rectangular form. So Miriam, this might be the enthusiastic, friendly, optimistic, that's the transition. And then, you will go either typically to a triangle or to a circle when you go through this transition. So the same, Dana, you can perhaps see that there in yourselves. So why is this important? Any idea why understanding yourself and your communication style might be important? And I'll let you just jump in here.
Well, it definitely affects how you communicate with others, and you may want to tweak what you say or how you say it, depending on the other type personality that you're speaking to be sure that they're receiving more clearly what you're saying.
Spoken like a human resource person.
Yeah.
They're rubbing off on me. What can I say?
But that's exactly true. So when we want to have somebody work with us, or we're in a group and we want everybody to get along, our communication is important. With Terry dealing with, how old are your students typically, Terry?
5 to
What's that, 5 to
11.
11? So, I mean, what a great informative stage, but that's like herding cats for sure. And so it's a good thing that you have a communication style that follows that wavy line, because you have to adapt to all sorts of things that are going on around you simultaneously. So understanding those young people and seeing, oh wow, now I understand that one a little bit more. She's a squiggly line like I am. If I say draw a square, she doesn't really hear square. She hears, a box with flowers coming out of it. And so listening and finding out how our words affect our communication and vice versa is really important. So I'm going to take you through one other thing that I think is also important. And it's when we talk about our communication style, we have self-talk. Do we all have self-talk?
Yes.
Can we agree that sometimes our self-talk is not in our own best interest?
Much of it.
Okay. So that's your saboteur. So look at the saboteur. You're in self-doubt, and this little picture captures it. I can't do it. I'm not worthy. I need to be more perfect. Nobody loves me. I'm not good enough. And logically, you all know that that's not true about you. You know that you're kind, you're smart, you're generous, that you get along, you play well with others, all those things that you learned in kindergarten, right? You're really all of those things. But when your self-talk falls into that negative side, this is what you feel, that burden that's on you. So I want you to consider adjusting and creating your she hero. I couldn't change the words here. It says superhero, but it's really a she hero. All right. So think about your she hero. And so if you're empowered, what words might you be using?
Courage.
Courage.
Strong.
Strong.
Determination.
Determination.
Resilience.
I love the word resilience. You just threw that in for me. I know you did.
I know, it's my word too, girl.
It is. And so would you all agree that when we reach this mid-season of our lives, we have learned to bounce back? We've learned to be resilient. Did that happen accidentally, or did that happen because of resistance? We get strong through resistance. Do y'all agree? I want you to
Yes.
just think for a moment. Something that maybe happened in your life that you thought, oh, this is not good. This is not the outcome that I wanted. Maybe it was a loss of a job. Maybe, Margaret, as you shared, an MBA that never really came to the fruition that you had hoped. You know, but what great came out of it? So this is what I call the goddess rewriting the story.
Mhm.
So, Terry, when you learned to draw, to paint, to use different mediums, were you perfect at them?
No, I still will not call myself an artist.
There you go. So changing our words, changing our picture of ourselves is something that we do in this mid-season of life. And that is what these coaching sessions are really about. It's not about being broken. That's not why we get a coach. We get a coach to get to our goal, to a solution, to another way of thinking. We get a coach to do it faster, to make it easier. And what is better than having other women who are swimming in the same pond, climbing the same mountain, here to help each other? So that's what our sessions do. They bring that energy and that focus. So that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. So each of you who have not been with me yet in a session, y'all now have a better idea of what I do. And maybe you know a gal or a friend who is struggling or just isn't broken, but might have a little crack, needs a little glue, needs a little something to hold her together. You know, we're not men, so I don't use baling wire and duct tape. So that's let's just get this clear, okay? But we do hold each other together. We do praise each other and lift each other, and it makes it a faster process and a more pleasant process for all of us. And we have tools that we use. So I want to thank you very much for supporting this project, this time that we come together as women. And I hope you have a beautiful evening. And I sincerely appreciate your time and effort here and your engagement. Thank you. Can I have a little wave? Thumbs up?
Thank you.
All good?